Okay, so let's start with some mindfulness. As we often do, we just come onto the back in Shavasana. We both start and finish with this posture. And very simple, just begin to be aware that you're breathing. So whatever else is going on, you're just maintaining that breath awareness. Another way I could say this is just feel your breath. Just keep feeling the breath there in the background. Okay, we'll begin to alter the breath. These are called pranayamas or pranayam in yoga. So first, inhale belly, ribs, chest. Exhale chest, ribs, belly. And that's called dirga, three-part or complete yogic breathing. Okay, now that we've established that, we layer on a hissing sound. So at the back of the throat, that's called your glottis. You're going to restrict that. And the way to do that is just imagine you're trying to make your breath hot, or you're trying to fog a mirror or a piece of glass, like a window. Now, I know for some of you, you may be sick of hearing that description. You might think that it's very basic. But I've known students who've done this technique wrong for years. So they think the sound is coming from their nose. They think it's like a sniffing, like a... So they think they're making the sound by sniffing really hard. It's not that. It comes from the throat. It should be able to be done with the mouth open. But we will close the mouth, okay? So that's the technique. Okay, now that we have the breathing going, and we're going to continue with that same breathing, let's bring the right leg in. And as we usually do, we're just going to start by cradling that leg. And this is just a very basic, fundamental warm-up for the hip and the leg, just sort of feeling into the joint and the muscles there. So again, I'm feeling a little bit of sensitivity, but less than maybe I have in the recent past. So feeling pretty good in the hip there and the leg, okay? That's a good sign. So two stretches we want to do for today in the hips. So again, during this part of the class, we warm up for those. So we bring the leg out to the side. These are your adductors in here in the inside of the thigh. Okay, so I want to feel a stretch in there. Now, just because of how much stretching I do, I don't feel any stretch, even though I'm at the maximum for me, okay? So if that's you, what you want to do is grab your big toe or your leg and begin to straighten the leg, and that should intensify the stretch, and it certainly has for me. I feel the stretch now in the inside of the thigh. Okay, don't worry about why that is. I know why, but I don't really feel like getting into the explanation right now. So just make sure you feel the stretch there. And then once you do, you're going to use that slow breathing to tell the nervous system to let go. Okay, because otherwise, When you stretch, your body can actually resist the stretch because it feels like it's in danger. It feels like it's being attacked. It feels like something is being forced. Okay, so we use the breath to get around that. That's called the stretch reflex. So we're using that slow, deep breathing to get around the stretch reflex very quickly. So I can even feel it in my own body that my body is beginning to let go because I'm breathing very, you can tell in my voice, I'm very calm, I'm very relaxed, okay? All right, second stretch. Let's bring this leg in. And you can hold the foot and the leg and pull them in like this. Or you can actually wrap the elbows and we just hug it. You'll notice my left leg, I'm not really worried about what that's doing. It's bending a little bit because that feels comfortable. It's perfectly fine. So what are we doing? We're getting into those rotators. And this is another thing we're going to do a lot of in today's class. So adductors and rotators today. We're really getting deep into this muscle group. So again, this should be felt right around here, very deep in the hip. And again, that slow, deep breathing is going to be very important. I hear people in class all the time, they're like hyperventilating when they're doing yoga because their body, again, they mentally know they're fine, but their body doesn't know, right? The body is defending itself. Okay, let's release that leg. Relax, returning to Shavasana, and just feel that leg. You know, for me, it's very sort of tingly. That's really the best word to describe it. It just feels very alive, sort of a tingling sensation, a vibrating sensation maybe. It feels much more light, vibrant. I'm much more aware of my right leg than my left leg at this moment. Right, left leg feels kind of dark and dull by comparison. Okay, left leg, same thing. We start with the leg cradle. So we have basically 3 stretches. This first one should be the most basic, the most safe, the easiest one, the least intense one. So again, outside of the hip and leg, feeling really good. I feel a little sensitivity at the front of the hip, but that's pretty common for me, and I'm not even sure that that's due to any kind of ailment. That might just be the shape of my hip. There's a little pinching that occurs when I hug the leg in. Okay, second stretch, we drop the leg out to the left, right? Left leg to the left. And again, with the knee bent, if you don't feel anything, some of you will, but if you don't, then you begin to focus on straightening the leg. I need to move a little bit, a little too close to the wall there. Okay, so we straighten out that leg. And again, what my right leg does doesn't really matter. I can bend it, I can put the foot on the ground. Just want to find that stretch on the inside of the left thigh, and then I'm going to breathe. And each breath, especially the exhale, brings me closer and closer to feeling completely relaxed in that position. Like almost like I'm ready to go to sleep. Like I'm not holding or clenching in any way. I'm just relaxing with every exhalation, more and more relaxed. All right, beautiful. Now let's bring that leg in and we cradle the leg, okay? So again, I can actually wrap my elbows around. I'm looking to get into those rotators because we'll do some Lotus later on in the class, some half Lotus. So this is the position our leg will be in that Lotus position. So we're trying to preemptively warm up and wake up and open up those muscles. Now, these warm-up stretches do not need to be your deepest stretches. So keep that in mind. You don't have to push too hard, okay? Just get a little stretch going. And then let's release. And again, we'll take a moment just to breathe. Okay, bringing both legs in now. Let's rock up to seated, and we'll come into our tabletop and begin warming up the spine. So inhale, tailbone lifts, belly drops, crown of the head up. Exhale, tuck tailbone, round the back, crown of the head down. Good, then we can tuck those toes, lift those hips. We'll come up and back to a down dog. And then we'll come into our full expression of down dog here. So as usual, hands about shoulder width, fingers wide, chest drawing toward the toes, feet hip distance, and heels reaching toward the ground. Now, this may be a very difficult position for you if you're new or, if certain things are going on in your body. What you're looking for in your down dog, at least in a Vinyasa class, is it should be relatively restful. Okay, in a Vinyasa sequence, this is a resting pose. So see if you can find that. Notice if as you hold this, you're like, oh my God, how much longer? When are we coming out of this? It's okay if that happens to you. That's just where you are. But what you're trying to cultivate here is a sense of ease, a sense of rest. So see if you can find that. Use your breath. Notice what you might be resisting and see if you can let that go. All right, with the exhale, let's walk our feet to the hands. We come into ragdoll. So grabbing the opposite elbow, you can nod or shake your head. The hips sway a bit. You can bend the knees. So again, all of this whole first section before we get to the sun salutations is really an opportunity to really check in. So I'm feeling a lot of tightness here in my low back, which is interesting because generally I'm feeling really good in my hips, my back, but I can just feel something's holding on here. So I'm going to be very mindful of that as we go through the class, okay? Ideally, you don't really feel much of anything here. It just feels like you're dangling and, it doesn't feel bad at all. But this for me is like, okay, interesting. My body's telling me something, okay? All right, inhale, we roll up to standing, stacking ears, shoulders, hips, knees, and heels. And now we come to our modified sun salutation. I say modified because this isn't the traditional form of it. It's, I've just slightly tweaked it for my own purposes and what I think we need in this class, okay? So we start with the feet touching or hip distance is fine. As we inhale, we draw the arms up. We stretch the front side of the body. Exhaling, we come forward and down. Okay, and then inhale, we come up to the half lift. Exhale, step the right foot and then the left to the top of a push-up. Take a deep breath, drop the knees, and exhale halfway down so the elbows hug the ribs. With the next exhale, come the rest of the way down. Bring your feet together and press them into the mat. With the inhale, lift your hands, head, neck, chest, and upper abdomen. Okay, but we're not using any hands, okay? Just the back muscles. Exhale, come back down, press back to tabletop, and then to the downward dog, and take a breath or two there. Okay, from down dog, we inhale to the toes, fill the lungs. Exhale, step, jump, or float to the front edge of the mat. Inhale all the way up to standing back bend. And then grabbing the right wrist, exhale and stretch the entire right side of the body with half moon. Inhale through center and exhale over to the other side. Same thing. Inhale back to center and exhale to Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale to half lift, exhale, step the left, and then the right to the top of a push-up. Okay, this time it's your call, knees up or down. Take a deep breath, exhale just halfway down. You should be able to hold that for a breath at least. If not, just drop the knees. And then with the next exhale, come all the way down. Again, inhale to cobra, but this time use your hands to come up a little more. Notice my hips stay on the ground. That's because when my hips lift up, I'm not using my back anymore. I'm not using my spine. Okay, I'm going deeper by lifting the hips, not by increasing my flexibility. So we're just trying to use our maximum flexibility in the spine. Exhale, come on down, and then inhale, you can press to the top of a push-up, and then exhale back to down dog. Otherwise, you can use tabletop for the transition, so you can keep those knees down. Okay, let's do one more. So we inhale to the toes, fill the lungs, exhale, step, jump, float, front edge of the mat. Inhale, standing back bend. Exhale, half moon. Inhale, center. Exhale, half moon. Inhale, center. And exhale into an imaginary seat for chair pose. Good. With the next inhale, let's come up and back, and exhale to a forward fold. Inhale to half lift, and if you're able to this time, just exhale right to the bottom of a push-up. Inhale to up dog this time, so the hips are up and the knees are up. The legs are active, so it's not this kind of like relaxed, right? It's active, the legs are active, the knees are up. Exhale, do a push-up on your way back to down dog if you're able to. Otherwise, again, you can go straight back. You can also use tabletop for that transition. Let me just mention that it's better not to try and skip ahead. So if you do need to drop your knees, much better to drop your knees and maintain good form than it is to try and keep your knees up but collapse in the core upper body, okay? All right, great work, everybody. So now we're going to get into some side planks. So feet touch. We inhale the right leg up and back. I'm just going to turn for the camera, okay? Right leg up and back. Exhale that knee to the ground, and then inhale, lift the left arm up. This is a version 1 modified side plank. The main thing I want here is that your right shoulder is engaged. So you are actively pressing the ground away from you rather than collapsing. This is collapsing, okay? And then this is active. Now extend the crown of the head away from your left heel. The left arm stacks above the right and the gaze is up. Now the question always is for us once we're in a posture is, what's the breath doing? Is it still deep, rhythmic, and slow? That's what we're always going for. So slow it down, breathe deep. Okay, so this is our baseline. If the versions we do later are too much, return to this. Okay, for some of you, this might be plenty today. All right, exhale that hand to the ground. Inhale the right leg up and back, three-legged dog. Exhale, lunge. And then inhale to this position. This is called Skandasana. Okay, Skandasana. So what we're looking for is a stretch right in here, the inside of the thigh, okay? So we're coming pretty low with that upper body. Some people, when they hold this, they like to bind this leg. Some people like the hands in like a prayer position. Others sometimes do fancy things like that with their arms. Really, I don't really care what you do with your arms because it doesn't really affect the main aspect of the posture. At least it shouldn't. The main thing is here. Again, those adductors at the inside of the thigh, we're trying to open those up for what we're going to do later. Notice my foot is active, okay, it's flexed, but the exact position the foot points in is going to vary from person to person. Also, how low you need to go with the exact position of your torso, okay? So we're going to flow this a lot today, but I want you to take this time to really feel into it. Where do you get the stretch? Where does it feel safe? Okay, and again, if any of these postures don't feel safe, you need to let me know, maybe after class. You say, hey, I felt the pain in my knee. What should I do? Okay? All right, let's turn back into our lunge. We inhale, right leg up and back, and exhale, bottom of our push-up. Make our way to the other side. Okay, so take your time. And again, I'm just going to turn so I can face the camera. Okay, side 2, feet touch, inhale left leg, exhale knee to the ground, and inhale to the modified side plank. There are 2 versions of modified side plank that we will do today. This is the first, the most stable, the most accessible, the easiest, okay? But again, for some people, this is going to be the right match. So again, you will make progress much more quickly, and you will also be much more safe if you just take incremental steps. If you try and skip steps or jump ahead from where you are, you run a much greater risk of injury. You also will develop much more unevenly. So there will be gaps in your strength, flexibility, and knowledge. Okay, exhale that hand down. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, lunge. And then inhale to Skandasana on the other side. Okay, so Skandasana, again, we're looking for stretch in here. It's very low to the ground. Again, what you do with your arms is really up to you. I might do a bind here. It feels pretty good. So find the stretch. Feel safe. Again, what feels safe for one person may not for somebody else. And then use your breath to open up the inside of that right thigh. Those are your adductors or your groin muscles. Okay, then we will turn back to face forward. Inhale the leg up and back, and exhale bottom of our push-up, making our way to the downward facing dog. All right, lots of balance today. So inhale to the toes, exhale to the front edge of your mat, and then inhale up to standing, exhale hands to the heart. Okay, so let's take a look at Vrikshasana, which is the tree pose. So I bend the right knee, okay, and I bring, this is the most basic tree. I could have my hands at the heart here. My toes are on the ground, and my foot is resting on my ankle. The next step is the foot on the calf muscle, okay, a little bit harder in terms of balance. And then the next is the foot here in the inside of the thigh. This is a kind of traditional tree pose. And then if you like, you can take it one step further and bring the foot to the front of the thigh into a lotus position. Okay, remember I mentioned lotus earlier. Okay, so this is creating a external rotation here in the hip. Also abduction, a little bit of abduction. Now I can hold the foot with my hand, or I can create a bind by reaching around and grabbing the big toe with the same side. So this is my left side, probably going to be your right side if you're mirroring me. Okay, and I reach around, and then I can take the free hand and bring it up. Okay, you can also do that if you were here. You could bring those hands up. So again, hands not too important, but if you can bind here, that's the full expression of the pose. That's ultimately what we're trying to shoot for. Okay, let's exhale. We release that side. Side two. So again, incremental steps done well. Much better than trying to skip ahead. The other side of that, though, I want you to be very aware of, everybody, is sometimes people play it too safe. They never challenge themselves. They're always trying to do everything perfectly. And there's no perfection, not in physical reality. Okay, so we want to let go of that idea of I need to do it perfect. Once you're relatively comfortable, once you're fairly confident in doing something, then by all means, get uncomfortable again, step out of that comfort zone, challenge yourself, okay? But do so very mindfully, very carefully. Okay, release. So we're going to use that as a building block. Okay, so just keep that in mind, keep that in your back pocket. Okay, inhale, arms up, deep breath in, and we exhale, forward fold. Inhale to the half lift, exhale, bottom of your push-up. I'm going to skip this push-up because I'm feeling I'll get winded if I do too many more. Okay, great work, everybody. So, modified side plank. Let's learn another variation, all right? So feet touch, inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale the foot just about halfway. Roll onto the edge of your left foot and then inhale the right arm up, okay? So again, if this is too much, you return to the last variation. Otherwise, a lot of the principles are the same. Left shoulder's engaged. It's going to work a lot harder here. You probably feel these muscles. These are your obliques. I mentioned them earlier. Your sides, we're using those. Okay, so they're engaged here. Again, crown of the head away from that left heel. So nice long spine. And I'm looking up. What's the breath doing? Right? Very important. Slow it down. Good. Exhale that hand to the ground. Inhale the leg up and back. Exhale, lunge. I'm going to turn again just for the camera. Inhale to Skandasana. And then exhale over to the other side of the mat into a lunge. Let's repeat that. We inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, Skandasana. Exhale, lunge at the opposite side of the mat. Good. Let's do that again. Inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, Skandasana. Exhale, lunge at the back of the mat. Good. One more time. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, Skandasana. And exhale, lunge at the front of the mat. Now, inhale to a high lunge, Ashta Chandrasana. Okay, so front-footed knee straight ahead. The knee lunges directly over the heel. Right thigh approaches parallel. Left hip forward, right hip back. Left heel reaching toward the ground, just like downward dog, but the heel is behind the toes. Okay? In the upper body, we have a back bend. So upper body, arms framing the ears, up and back, shoulders back, and there should be a nice deep stretch at the front of your left hip. Those are your hip flexors. Breathe into it. Good. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale, bottom of the push-up. Make your way back to down dog. From downward dog, inhale left leg up and back. Exhale the foot halfway and inhale to the second variation of modified side plank. Okay. Good. Take a deep breath. Exhale that hand down. Inhale the leg up and back. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, skandasana. Feel the stretch. Exhale, lunge at the back of the mat. Inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, skandasana. Exhale, lunge at the front of the mat. Again, inhale, left. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, skandasana. Exhale, back of the mat. Inhale, right. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, skandasana. And then exhale, front of the mat. Inhale, ashta chandrasana, the crescent or high lunge pose. We do this one a lot. It's a very useful posture in yoga. Very intense, builds strength, builds flexibility, helps us find our inner strength and power and vitality. Good. Deep breath in. Exhale, bottom of the push-up, making your way to downward facing dog. From downward dog, inhale to your toes. Exhale, step, jump, float, front edge of the mat. Let's inhale up to standing back bend. Exhale, hands to the heart. So as most of you know, we build things in this class incrementally, okay? There's no better way to go. The skipping ahead, jumping ahead usually doesn't help us, okay? If we can do something more complex, we should be able to do the easier steps along the way very easily, okay? So we don't want to skip steps that we can't do well. We want to master each step, okay? So again, for some of you, just balancing is going to be enough of a challenge, okay? If you're wobbling the whole time, having difficulty, steady your breath, steady your eyes, okay? I like to say steady eyes, steady breath equals a steady pose, okay? So that's what you're looking for. Now, if you already have that steadiness, then let's begin to bring the flexibility in. Okay, if this is challenging, see if you can do this without tweaking your knee or your ankle. Okay, if it's easy to do this part but not the hand, then maybe try a strap. Maybe grab a towel. See if you can get a towel around the foot and then bring the arm behind so you're beginning to bring in that flexibility element, okay? Now, if this whole thing is relatively easy, then with the next exhale, let's come forward and down, okay? This is called Ardha Padma Paschimottanasana, okay? So we're coming forward. I can bring the palm flat. I can also try grabbing my ankle. I'm folding over, forehead toward the knee or the shin. Even if it doesn't touch, that's the direction I'm moving in. Okay, let's inhale as gracefully as we can. We come up out of that and then exhale, release posture. Good. Take a breath. Relax. Side 2. Okay. So foot comes here again. All right. And again, what am I looking for? A little bit of challenge. Not too easy, not too difficult. Now, if this is just very easy for you, you're very flexible, very strong, you have good balance, then that's okay. You may not get too much challenge here yet. Hopefully some of the variations we'll do later will be more challenging. But I'll gladly tell you this is challenging for me. I can do it, but it's still challenging. Okay, inhale, we come back up, and exhale. Whoo, we release that. So yes, I can do it. Still challenging. I feel kind of lightheaded right now. The blood is rushing back to my head. So again, challenge can still be present in things that we can do, okay? All right, so inhale, arms up, standing back bend, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, exhale, bottom of the push-up. Make your way to downward dog. All right, great work, everybody. So let's bring our feet to touch here. We will inhale into a classic side plank. So I do that by rolling to the left from down dog with the feet touching. Okay, so you notice the legs now are just parallel. Okay, now one thing I want you to notice here, and again, if this is too much, you use one of the other variations. But one thing I want you to notice is my hips are not way up here. Okay, I see this sometimes. That's not a side plank. A plank is a straight piece of wood. Okay, this is like a side arch. And it's much easier. That's why I need to point that out. This is much harder. This is why people do this. They think they look cool and then they're actually doing something a lot easier. So let's drop the knee or the foot if we need to make it easier. Let's not distort the intention of the posture. Okay, from there you can lift this leg and lunge with your exhale. Okay, and then once we're in our lunge, again I'm turning just for the camera, we inhale to our Skandasana. We exhale back of the mat, okay? Then inhale left leg up and back. Exhale lunge. Inhale Skandasana. And exhale front of the mat. Inhale to crescent lunge. And then exhale to warrior two, side facing warrior. Okay, so warrior two, front leg pretty much identical. So both in crescent lunge in this posture, we're strengthening this leg. All right, but what happens here? Chest, pelvis open up to the left wall. My arms, instead of being up here, are now parallel with the ground. So I'm strengthening different muscles in the shoulders. And in here, right, feels different. Different muscles are getting stretched in the hip. My back heel is down, right? Now, one thing I see in this posture a lot when I teach live in person is this. I don't know why. Some people, it's like they think they're moving forward. Just bring those shoulders over the hips, directly over, and then just reach your fingertips out like you're trying to touch both walls. All right, take a nice deep breath and exhale, cartwheel down, bottom of the push-up. Make your way to your downward dog. Let's bring our feet to touch and we'll come into the classic side plank. Again, it's an option. It's not required. If you're not there yet, do one of the other variations. Good. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, Skandasana. Exhale, lunge at the back of the mat. Inhale, right leg up and back, three-legged dog. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, Skandasana. Exhale, front of the mat. Good. Inhale to crescent lunge. And exhale to your warrior two. Good. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale, cartwheel down, bottom of the push-up. Make your way to downward dog. From down dog, let's inhale to the toes. We're going to exhale to the front edge of the mat. We inhale to the standing back bend. And then exhale, hands to our heart. Okay, so again, we're just incrementally trying to build some rather complex and challenging postures. Okay, so this next one is one of my favorites. It's called the toe stand, Padangustasana. So I start in the same way. Okay, now again, for some of you, doing this is beyond your reach today, and that's fine. Again, we don't want to try and skip ahead. We don't want to try and jump beyond what our body is ready to do in that particular day. And it may never be ready, and that's fine, okay? But if this is okay for us, then we inhale, arms up, and exhale very carefully, very slowly. I'm going to bend over, bend the knee, gradually coming down. And I am balancing on my toes, right? So I try and bring my hands to my heart. All right, beautiful. Let's inhale, we come back up, filling the lungs as we do, and exhale, we release the pose. Side two, Padangustasana, again, the toe stand, okay? Now again, you're only doing toe stand if all the other steps prior felt comfortable and safe, okay? So again, I'm comfortable, I'm safe. Might be a little bit challenged, but I'm definitely feeling comfortable and safe. And then I can choose to do this to challenge myself even more. You know, the first time we try anything, we might feel a little bit unsafe, a little bit unsure, right? We might feel uncomfortable. So that's to be expected once you step out of that comfort zone. But very quickly, you want to try and regain that sense of comfort and stability, okay? So inhale back up, we exhale, let it go. Very nice work, everybody. We're in the home stretch now. So inhale, arms up, standing back bend, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, exhale, bottom of the push-up. All right, our final version of the side plank. So let's come into first a classic side plank. And then if we want, we've done a lot of tree today, so we can bring this foot into tree. Good. Take a deep breath in, exhale, lunge, and then inhale to Skandasana, right? Exhale, back of the mat. Let's inhale to crescent. Exhale the hands down. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, Skandasana. Exhale, front of the mat. Inhale to crescent. Exhale to warrior two. Inhale up to this position. And then heel toe your feet out to a nice comfortable distance. Inside edges of the feet parallel. Okay. Exhale, hands behind you. Right thumb over the left thumb. Interlace fingers if you can. Otherwise, just grab a towel. Inhale, lift the hands away from your buttocks. And then exhale, fold forward. See if you can get the crown of your head to the ground directly between your feet. Bring the pinky side of your hands all the way to the ground behind your head. Feel the stretch in the inside of the thighs. Good. Inhale. Let's come all the way back up. And exhale, cartwheel down, bottom of your push-up. Okay, so side two. Feet touch. We inhale we inhale to our side plank. Okay, and then again we can bring the foot into tree to add a little bit of challenge. Good. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lunge. Inhale to Skandasana. Right. Exhale to the back of the mat. Inhale to crescent. Exhale the hands down. Inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale, lunge. Inhale to Skandasana. Exhale to the front of the mat. Inhale to crescent. Exhale to warrior two. Inhale to basically stupa, but then walk those feet out. Exhale, hands behind you, left thumb over right. Inhale, arms up, and exhale into Prasarita Padottanasana. Wide leg forward fold. Good, let's inhale, come all the way back up to our stupa, and exhale, cartwheel down, bottom of the push-up. All right, inhale to the toes, exhale, front edge of the mat. Inhale, standing back, bend up and back, and exhale, hands to your heart. So let's see if we can take all of this work that we've done in tree pose with the abduction and external rotation of the hip. Let's see if we can put all that together and add upper body strength to turn it into an arm balance, right? We've already turned it, we've been balancing on the legs, but now we'll see if we can balance on the arms. So first step, again, it's always incremental. It's always incremental. First step is the leg comes into the lotus, right? Now, I see if I can come forward safely. Okay, once I'm here, what I want to do is rest my shins on the back of my arms, just like crow pose, except I keep this leg in lotus. Okay, so I'm here, gaze up, arms bent, and then I see, can I lift my toes? Okay, and then that's it. Okay, that's called Ardha Padma Bakasana. the half lotus crow. Inhale up, exhale, release. And we see if we can do that on the other side. Now again, that may not be for you today. It may never be for you, and that's okay. You don't ever need to feel like, oh, there's something wrong with me. I can't do that pose. Just certain poses are just not for certain body types. But I encourage you, don't make up your mind. You never know. You never really know, okay? You can try something over and over and over again and fail over and over and over again, and then one day something changes and miraculously you can do it. So again, every day we just want to give 100%. Okay, we just want to do our personal best. Every day, every pose, and then we never know. And again, I know this from decades of teaching. I've had students who've come to class, they said, I never thought I would do this pose or that pose or whatever. But because I teach them in a very incremental way, if they just do the next step, one day they find, oh, I'm in the pose. Who knew? Right? So again, we really just don't want to make up our mind. We want to just try. Okay, great job, everybody. Challenging posture. What's important is you did your best. Let's unwind a little bit now, okay? So let's come on to the back. And let's just do a quick back bend. So knees bent, feet in. We start with the very basic bridge, okay? You can stay there, okay? Or you can do the wheel pose if you prefer. But we're just lifting those hips up for a few breaths. Good. Exhale. Come on down. Let the knees drop in. Breathe. And then we let those knees drop side to side like windshield wipers. Good. Once you've done that, let's bring the legs in. Give them a nice squeeze. You can make some circles or rock a bit. So just give yourself a great big hug. Good. And then let's do a twist. So arms out to the sides, knees to the left, look to your right, and let the breath release now. So let it be natural. Good. Inhale, center. Exhale, knees to the other side. Good. Inhale, knees through center. Grab the soles of the feet for happy baby. Remember, if you can't grab the soles of the feet, grab behind your knees instead. And the idea here again is just to move a bit freely. Try and address any imbalance, stiffness, soreness, pain that you're feeling. Try and use the movement to lessen those things. So we're using the movement to create a sense of openness, vitality, relaxation in the body, okay? That's just a very intuitive thing. You can just feel what works and what doesn't. Very simple movements, doesn't have to be complex or fancy. Okay, when you're done with that, you unwind into Shavasana, heels apart, palms turned up, head centered, chin tucked in slightly. Set a timer for 6 minutes, okay? Use your phone or your watch. Set a timer, and then for the next 6 minutes, just let your body, imagine that your body is, you know, again, it's called corpse pose. Just imagine you cannot move your body. Your body is, for those minutes, just completely dead. Doesn't matter if there's an itch or a scratch or your cat or dog comes over, you just do not move, okay?